Hey, you have anger management issues? I know I do. Got to deal with it all the time. Let me introduce you to a young lady who's going to help us all. She is Janet Pfeiffer. She's been with us before on One-on-One, president and CEO of Pfeiffer Power Seminars and author of The Secret Side of Anger. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Steve?
I'm great right now. I'm having a good time and a positive frame of mind. I don't like to make this about myself, but I often do. At times, and I know I'm not alone, and by the way, one of the things about the book I really like that you'll like is that Janet discloses very quickly early on, particularly in the intro, that she was an angry person who let it out in real counterproductive ways, right?
Yep,
very much so. By the way, forget about me for a second. I'll come back to that. When did you know that it was a problem?
Actually, early on in my life, I was someone who grew up in an environment where you were not allowed to express any kind of negative emotion, so I suppressed it.
So you're not Italian, are you?
Oh, yes, I am.
Are you?
Yes,
because my family expressed negative emotions all the time.
Not in my family. No. In my family, everybody had a smile on. Everything was fine. Oh, yeah.
All right, go ahead. Where'd you grow up?
I actually grew up in Bergenfield.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So for the first portion of my life, I suppressed any negative emotions that I had. And what happened was when I got married in my early 20s and had children, the anger started surfacing at my kids. And I realized that I was really doing a lot of damage with them. So I knew I had an issue with anger back that many years ago. So what I did was I went back to suppressing it again. And then when my marriage ended in my early 30s, I developed an eating disorder, which I soon found out was actually all about emotions, suppressed emotions. And that's really when I started getting in touch with what I was feeling and trying to resolve some of those issues. But it wasn't until I was in my 40s when I got involved with a man who became an abuser that I really started learning about anger.
What are the most common misconceptions, Janet, about anger?
The biggest one is that we believe that other people are responsible for how we feel.
You just make me so angry.
Hear that all the time. All the time.
If you hadn't done that, I would not be so angry.
Yeah, we place blame and we give responsibility to other people for how we feel. And what I try to explain to people is that anger is a choice. So I actually decide for myself how I want to feel in any situation. And everything that I feel comes from what I think. So I can look at a person who's behaving badly, somebody who's cursing at me or criticizing me or jumping up and down and acting foolish.
Right.
And whatever thoughts I form about that person is going to determine how I feel about them. So I can form a very critical and judgmental thought. Oh my God, this guy is an idiot. Right. And just those thoughts alone are going to determine how I feel. But if I look at that same individual in the same situation and say, well, this guy's having a bad day, something must be going wrong, it generates a completely different set of emotions.
Yeah, but Janet, let me ask you this. By the way, check out the book. It's got great stuff in it. And, but I have to ask you something. I try to differentiate between constructive anger and stupid anger. And I think I know the difference intellectually, but in real life it doesn't always manifest itself in that way. There are things that happen. TV production, I said this to you last time, we're in a different studio. Stuff happens. Stuff happens. I overreact to a situation. And I say, because such and such happened, that's why I reacted that way. Even though I know it's wrong. I had a choice. We all have a choice as to how we're going to react to, quote, mistakes or things that we perceive to be mistakes around us. I have control. We have control.
Well, you don't have
Why can't I just say, this is ridiculous, it makes no sense, I'm not going to put up with it anymore? Why isn't that not me simply saying what it is?
Okay, well you are. I mean, you are stating the circumstances, and that's fine. But the problem that we encounter is when we have unrealistic expectations, and I think you and I talked about this in the last show, is that if I'm doing a show and I expect that everything's going to run smoothly, is that realistically possible? I mean, in any situation, something is always going to go wrong.
With everyone having the best intentions.
Yeah, everybody.
With everyone working really hard.
Everybody doing exactly what they're supposed to do. We're dealing with technology. Something always goes wrong.
Same thing in relationships?
Sure,
Everyone's trying to do their best. Everyone has the best.
Time.
No, but assume for a second in a relationship, both players trying to do their best. Could be husband and wife, could be brother, sister, parents, kids, whatever. Everyone's trying to do their best. Everyone comes out at the best intentions, but they're angry at each other because?
Because, once again, we have expectations. I expect that my husband's going to do everything right. I expect that he knows how to treat me, that he knows what I'm feeling, that he knows what I need. How can I possibly expect that of him? In my marriage now, because I'm married for a second time, I don't expect things from my husband. I accept whatever it is he offers to me. It makes life so much easier because he is a good person, and I choose to focus on the goodness within him. So what's lacking, if there's something I need from him, I can ask for that. You know, if I need more time from him, if I need him to help me out with something. But I also have to understand that he has a right to either give me what it is I'm seeking or deny me that for whatever his reasons are.
So how about selfish reasons? I'm not getting off the couch, so I'm not going to help you. You can't say you accept that.
Okay, well, but those are his issues. See, we make the mistake of allowing somebody's issues to become ours. If I'm dealing with someone who's selfish, well, then you have issues of selfishness. You have to resolve that within yourself. But now there's a difference. I don't have to sit there and just say, well, okay, nothing I can do about it. I can set some boundaries with him as well. I can communicate to him that, you know what, that doesn't work for me. We need to negotiate some kind of change here. So if that's a possibility, then fine. But there are certain things that no matter how hard you try to negotiate with an individual, they're not going to budge. At that point, I have to decide, can I accept the fact that this is the way the situation is for now and truly be okay with it? Or is this something that I'm not willing to accept and maybe I need to remove myself?
Some deal breakers.
Yeah, some of them are deal breakers, absolutely. But if you look at, in any relationship, the kinds of things that we argue about and fight about and get angry and upset about, are they really that important? You know, to me, if it's not a matter of life and death, if it's not a moral issue, if it's, you know, if it's not something that's illegal, then why do I have to allow myself to become upset about it? You know,
what happens when children see anger in their parents?
Oh, it changes who they are. Totally changes who they are. First of all, they learn from their parents.
Yeah, I used to see a lot of anger as a kid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and you had explained that to me,
yeah,
too. And you
time.
know, I work at a battered women's shelter, so I deal with kids who grew up with violence all around them. It changes who a child is. All right, it instills fear in them. It teaches them how to behave violently and express their anger in a very negative way. It damages their relationship with their parents. So you have to be very, very careful. I mean, we are the primary role models of our children. So if you can express your anger in a healthy way, I can say to my husband, you know, I'm really angry with you. I am so disappointed that I asked you for this and it was really important to me and you just blew me off like it was nothing.
That's not screaming and yelling and throwing a dish.
No, absolutely not. No, absolutely not. But I'm letting you know very clearly that I'm upset about something and I'm not happy with the situation.
Will you get angry with me if I plug your book one more time?
Absolutely not.
The Secret Side of Anger, the author, by the way, the subtitle, The Quickest and Easiest Guide Ever to Managing Anger, Janet Pfeiffer. Hey, listen, I read your book and I know I have work to do, but when you're here, I feel very good and we'll keep doing the right thing. You helped us, Janet.
Thank you so much, Steve. Thank you.